Hi, this is Trevor Stines from the CW's Riverdale and the upcoming Middleton Christmas, and you're listening to the Man Cave Chronicles.
Welcome to another episode of the Man Cave Chronicles.
Welcome to the party, pal!
You're my boy, Blue!
Yo,
A podcast with interviews of amazing guests from the world of pop culture.
Oh, yeah!
TV.
Nice!
Movies.
Oh, I love the movies!
Comedy and more. From deep inside the Man Cave, your host, Elias.
Trevor, welcome to the cave.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
How are you, man? What's new with you?
Not a whole lot. Just kind of relaxing at home with, I'm in LA, so we're still on a bit of a lockdown. Like, things have opened up here, but, doing our best to stay inside and stay safe.
Yeah. How did you deal with that whole quarantine?
Honestly, it was, I think it was easier on me than I expected it to be, because I feel like I am pretty used to just kind of being a bit of an isolationist, I guess. I stay home a lot. I don't often like go out and like go to large gatherings with people. So it was kind of par for the course for me to just stay home. I do like miss getting to see my friends as often as I would have normally, but overall, it hasn't been too hard.
Well, hopefully we'll get through this soon.
Yeah. I think hopefully we're coming out on the other end of it.
So yeah, man, you've been busy, man. The listeners know you from CW's Riverdale as Jason Blossom, and now you have a movie coming out, Middleton Christmas, so we'll talk about that. But let's get to know a little bit more about you. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Washington State. I grew up in a town called Tumwater. Not too big of a town, but I moved to Los Angeles to pursue acting as a career in late 2014, almost 2015. So it's been almost 6 years now.
Oh, wow. How old were you when you kind of had an idea you wanted to get into the business?
I was like freshly 18 when I first started thinking about it. I ended up meeting some agents and some managers who expressed interest in working with me, and that was the kind of the first time it really struck me that I could do this as a career and make a living. So I decided that I owed it to myself to try it, and here we are, some years down the line, and it's going pretty well.
Yeah. What was did you have like a backup plan?
No, I'm not really much of a plan B kind of guy. I feel like I just kind of told myself that I was gonna do whatever it takes to make it work, and I just didn't really have a backup. I just thought like I'm gonna do it, and nothing's gonna prevent me from doing the thing that I want to do.
Was there any specific movies or TV shows that you loved watching that pushed you into this more?
I don't know. I love film. I've always really, really loved movies and film, and there are like a ton, like I don't know, like I loved watching movies growing up, and they were always, and still to this day, like remain a huge inspiration for me. Just kind of the whole aspect of TV and film production I find fascinating. And that's what I really wanted to pursue. Like, I would watch movies and TV shows, and all I could think about was how much I wanted to participate in like making them.
Mm-hmm. So like when you decided, okay, I'm going to get into acting, I'm going to get my agents, I'm going to move to LA, what was your parents' reaction when you told them this?
Yeah, they were scared. I'd never been to Los Angeles. I didn't know anybody there. And obviously like pursuing a career that is not exactly stable, there's no stable income, there's no guarantee. It's a frightening prospect for your child, but thankfully I was really lucky to have parents who believed in me. My father is a pragmatist. He was like, you should have a plan B, and I was just like, okay, Dad. And I moved anyway. But that was just, again, because he wanted me to take care of myself. And But I think my parents knew that I would be okay. You know, they just being the kind of person I was growing up, I think they had a confidence in me and knew that I would be able to take care of myself. So yeah, they were scared, but ultimately they were pretty supportive, which is lucky. You know, a lot of people when they pursue a non-traditional career like that, they don't have that same kind of support. So
when you first moved to LA, well, what did you do? What was like the first things you did?
oh man, the first thing I did was I got a job working at like a Nordstrom. Like I got a job folding clothes in a retail store. I got into an acting class, so you know I started trying to learn as much as I could about the actual like craft of acting because I grew up doing plays and musicals in school. Like you know, acting was always something that I loved. Performing was something that I loved. But I wanted to learn like the nitty gritty, you know, the detailed like nuances and the technique and the training that goes into really honing that craft. So that was the first thing I did was I got a job to try and support myself along the way. I started taking class.
What was one of your first gigs that you got while you were out there?
Oh man. One of my first gigs, like, so I always say like I cut my teeth on doing like student films. I started kind of just submitting myself for any project that would take me. Ended up doing like, you know, 3 auditions a day, 12 auditions a week, things like that, you know, like really just grinding, trying to get as much experience as I could in front of a camera and working with different kinds of people. One of the first like real like gigs that I got was a film. It was one of those like B horror movies, you know. Yeah. I feel like a lot of actors start out doing B horror movies, and you know I'm right there with them. It was a fun project, you know. I learned a lot. I got to work with some people that I'm still friends with today. So yeah, it was just like a collection of learning experiences. And honestly, like every project that I work on is still a learning experience. I've not gotten to a place where I just feel like I know everything about the industry and know everything about acting.
When you first when you started doing this in LA, was there did you give yourself a certain time, like if you don't get projects by a certain years, then you're gonna go to a plan B, or did you always say, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna stick to this?
Yeah, no, I remember thinking once when I like pretty soon after I moved, I remember thinking like I'll live out of my car if I have to. I always just saw it like, you know, I made a choice to pursue this as a career, and I'm gonna stick to that choice. Like for me, like when I make a choice, there's no going back on it. You have to dedicate yourself to that decision. And that's just kind of how I felt about pursuing this as a career. You know, like I said, I'll live out of my car if I have to. I'll do anything.
There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to make it, you got to grind, right?
Yeah. I kind of have started to see the different types of people who approach careers in the arts. Some people like do it as a side thing, like they have their main career or their regular job, and then acting or, you know, any kind of artistic pursuit, or they pursue, you know, anything creative. It's more of like they do it for fun. I've seen people who like really want to do it as a career, but end up not really being able to handle the stresses of it, and so they end up leaving. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people come and go in the industry, and I feel like there is a certain mindset of dedication that you have to have, and perseverance, because it can be really hard. You know, I don't fault anybody who, you know, wants to pursue a career in the arts and then ends up pursuing something else, because it's freaking hard, man. Like it's not for the faint of heart. So yeah, you have to have a certain level of self-belief and a certain level of stubbornness. Honestly, you have to just be really stubborn.
So now you got a new film, Middleton Christmas. For the listeners, tell us what the movie's about.
Yeah. Middleton Christmas is it's a holiday film. Yeah, obviously judging by the name. You know, it's about a high schooler named Sam, she is coming up on graduation and is trying to figure out like what she wants to do with the rest of her life. It also follows her mother, who's the school principal, who is kind of struggling financially to keep the arts program in the school afloat. And there's some twists and turns along the way. I play a character named Lucas. I'm Sam's boyfriend in the film, who has an idea about like what he wants to do that might not necessarily coincide with what Sam has in store for herself. So there's some conflict there. And I think the film, I think it adds something unique to what people expect from that kind of holiday genre. I hope that when people watch it, they take something away from it that it's a bit unique. We have our own take on things.
How fun was it doing a Christmas movie?
It was really fun, man. It was funny because I told my team, my reps, that I wanted to do a holiday film. I don't know why. I just had like an inkling that I think because like my family loves holiday films. Like my mother loves watching them and things like that. And I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of a project like that. I feel like it'd be really fun. And then just a couple months later, Middleton Christmas came along, and I was like, that's perfect. And it was really fun. I think it was one of the most like laughter-filled sets that I've ever been a part of. We had some really great personalities, really smart people, really smart performers working on this film. And my co-stars were a ton of fun. I am really good friends with them, and I really appreciate getting to work on a project with them and the people behind the camera. Yeah, it was just a good time. There was obviously some stresses, like doing any kind of film or TV project always comes with stress, because it's just a lot of people trying to get this thing done and pursue this like one vision. But overall, it was a great time.
So was your audition a self-tape or live for this?
I went in live for this. I went in for casting director, the director, and I believe one or two of the producers, and did a couple scenes for them, spoke with them, and I mean, it seems like they liked it. So I ended up getting the job, which obviously I'm appreciative of. Shout out to our casting director, Craig, our director, Dale. They were always great to work with and really understanding when it came to kind of the artistic process.
So you mentioned you played Lucas. Like, how would you describe him?
Lucas he's definitely a bit of a kind of a jock character, the typical like high school captain of the basketball team, that kind of guy. But he's got hidden depth, and that's the thing that attracted me to this character, was that it kind of takes the archetype of that high school jock or college jock character and really subtly delves into the motivations that fuel a person like that, and show how they can really change and go from being maybe not so nice a guy to being somebody who does the right thing. Lucas was a fascinating character to me, and I don't think I would want to play any other character in the film, because it really was like Lucas's role that made the film an attractive prospect for me.
Yeah. Well, do you have any challenges playing the character? Did you play sports when you were younger?
Honestly, that probably is the biggest challenge, in that I never played sports in school. It's funny, I oftentimes get cast in kind of sporty roles. Lucas is the captain of the basketball team. In Riverdale, I played Jason Blossom, who was captain of the football team and the water polo team.
Yeah.
And I never played any sports. I don't know what it is about me that makes me appear as this sporty guy, but I was doing, like I said, plays and musicals in school. And so in Middleton Christmas, we had some scenes of me playing basketball, and they actually had a basketball coach on set, like showing me what to do, which was a fun experience. I mean, look, I can throw a ball at a hoop. It just won't go in most of the time.
Right. How many did you? Was there a lot of bloopers from those?
Oh my gosh,
scenes?
yeah. We had a scene, and they were like, we can just bring this guy in and he can shoot it. We'll just get the shot of the ball going into the hoop. You don't actually have to shoot. And I was like, no, I want to do it. So we had to do probably 12 takes of me trying to get this ball in. But we did eventually get it. And I celebrated way more than I probably should have. But yeah.
Where was the movie filmed?
It was filmed here in Los Angeles. It was filmed in Glendale. We shot at a school up here, largely at a school, and then there was some scenes that take place in a hospital, also filmed here in LA. But yeah, it was filmed locally, local talent, local crew for the most part, which I appreciate. It's always fun getting to travel for work and going somewhere to shoot. But I also really appreciate just being able to wake up in my own apartment and then drive the set. So
how long did it take you to film the movie?
It wasn't too long. It was a quick shoot. It was filmed over the course of just a few weeks, maybe upwards of a month, which is a pretty tight schedule for a whole feature shoot. But we had some really talented people working on it. A great AD who kept us on track. So yeah, we ended up getting it done.
When was this filmed?
This was filmed. Oh man, I have to look at my calendar. It was filmed last year. I think mid to late last year, with then about a year for post-production.
How can the listeners find the movie?
The film is out now on demand and Amazon Prime. So you just look up Middleton Christmas. I believe that's Middleton Christmas. And you'll see a big poster with my dumb face on it. And yeah.
So I mentioned earlier also, the listeners know you from CW's Riverdales, Jason Blossom. How crazy was it being part of that world?
That is definitely still the craziest film experience that I've been a part of. Being part of the Riverdale family means that you just get thrust into a whole, a bigger world than you're used to. Like I said, I'm from a small town in Washington, so
yeah,
getting to be a part of this project that is so popular with so many people is really humbling. I mean, I've met dozens and hundreds of fans who love the show, and they're so kind in their regard of me and my participation and my part in it, that I don't know, I honestly can't thank the fans and thank Riverdale enough, because it's just shown me, I don't know, man, it's just been such a great experience, and getting to work with the talented cast, and we have really talented people working behind the camera, our cast and crew. It's just a treat. Anytime I get to go back and film with them is really exciting for me.
When you auditioned for Riverdale, was it for Jason Blossom or was it for another role?
No, it was for Jason Blossom originally.
Yeah.
They were looking for somebody who looked like Madeline, who plays Cheryl Blossom.
Yeah.
And my agents tossed me in, and I guess they thought it was kind of uncanny. I've had fans ask me if we're actually siblings. We're not, by the way. But yeah, it just happened to work. I happened to get it. It was a really short notice audition too. I had to submit it within. It was a self tape, and I had to submit it within an hour of receiving it, which is unheard of. That's such little time to prepare. But I did it, and I got it, and changed my life.
When you booked this role, did you know that your character was dead?
Yeah, I believe I did, because I read the pilot, and he, the character dies within the first 5 minutes of the show. It's kind of how the show opens. And I remember reading the pilot and thinking, throughout the whole thing, I was like, oh, there's no way I'm actually dead. Shows like this, they always have somebody die, and then it turns out, oh, it was all this secret plan, and they faked their death. I'm gonna just appear at the end of the episode. But then at the end of the episode, they find my body just floating in the river. So I'm like, okay, well, No, I'm dead as a doornail.
Yeah.
And
but you keep coming back.
Yeah, that was the thing, is that like I was definitely dead, and I didn't expect to have such like a lasting impact on the show. Especially in the first season, where my character's storyline is kind of the focal point, or one of the focal points of the series.
Yeah.
And then even like from then on through, I've appeared in every season, and the legacy of Jason Blossom has been way more lasting than I ever expected. And just once again, I'm really lucky.
What do you love about Jason?
I love how enigmatic of a character Jason is. I think part of the appeal of him is that you're never really sure where he falls on the scale of morality. You hear stories about how great of a guy he was, and then you hear that he was actually secretly terrible, but then he has like this love that he is pursuing, and these children that he's preparing for, and he's trying to like build a life for them. And I don't know, the thing that really appealed to me about Jason was that like you learn about him at the same pace as the audience does. Like me as an actor, I was constantly like being given new information about who he is and where he stood before he died, and like the impact that his death has had on this city and these people. That was the thing that made it so fun to play, was that I just constantly was gathering new information and getting to learn more about this character that I was portraying. And I was getting to share in that excitement with the audience, who was also learning those things at the same time.
So Madeline plays your sister, like, and you filmed a lot of scenes with her. Like, how was it working with her?
Yeah, Madeline is she's super professional. Really, I think she like knows exactly what she's doing. That's something that I really appreciate about working with her, is that it feels to me that she knows exactly how to get the kind of performance that she wants, and that she can feel proud of, which is actually pretty inspiring for me as an actor, just to see. Yeah, she's really, really talented, really intelligent about how she approaches her work.
Now, do you have a favorite scene on the show that you've
Favorite
been in?
scene that I've been in? Yeah. I really enjoyed, there's a scene towards the end of the first season where I, as like a zombified version of Jason, like appears beneath Sweetwater River in the water, and I'm reaching out towards Cheryl. That was a really fun scene to shoot and then to like see in the final product, because we had to like take scuba lessons to be underwater, and we had like oxygen tanks down there so we could like stay, and I had to like be completely submerged in water while wearing this full-on zombie makeup. So they had to spray me down with like 10 layers of this glue to just hold the makeup on. That was just like it was just a really fun process, like preparing for that scene and then filming it, especially because being underwater, like I couldn't really see anything. So it was like a lot of guesswork and a lot of just crossing our fingers and hoping it works. And it worked. It looked really good coming out. We'll see in the final episode.
Do you think we're going to see Jason again?
I hope so, man. I think there's more to tell with Jason, but you never know. Like the Riverdale story writers have tons and tons of ideas, so we'll see. Keep your eye out. I always say I can neither confirm nor deny.
How often do they keep you in the loop?
They're pretty secretive over there. I didn't like filming the first season. I didn't know who killed me until like the final episode or two, when it was finally revealed. They played that secret pretty close to the chest. So, and that's just kind of par for the course with them. So, I'm never really that in the loop about what's going on over in Riverdale.
Yeah. They have to keep it tight because they want the viewers to watch it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So what's next for you, man?
I'm just out here, like, kind of just still pursuing. I'm trying to pursue more film work right now. I like I said, like I've kind of been saying on this podcast, I love film, and getting to work on film projects is always like a treat for me. TV and film, they're very similar, obviously, but there's just a different energy to filming like a television show versus filming a movie. And I just love making movies, man, and I want to keep doing it. Awesome. I have a film project coming up that I'm incredibly excited for, and I'm really excited for people to hear more about. I can't give any details about it, but that's one I'm really excited for. It's a really ambitious project, and and I've been pursuing some writing projects. I'm working on maybe telling some of my own stories. So awesome. Yeah, we'll see where things go with that.
Trevor, how can the listeners find you on social media?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Trevor_Stines. It's just my name with an underscore in the middle. Trevor_Stines. And go ahead and give me a follow. I try to be funny sometimes, and maybe that's your thing.
Trevor, this was fun. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you, man, for having me. I had a good time.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap, everybody. That's a wrap.
Thanks for listening to the Man Cave Chronicles podcast.
I finally get my man cave.
You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the MCC Podcast, and our website, themccpodcast.com. Until next time.